Bona tarda.
Good afternoon. Welcome. We will now start the press conference with the player Jordi Alba. Please state your name and the media. And remember, it's one question each. Good afternoon, Jordi, Marbaroda, Barça TV. Tomorrow you've got the first match in the Champions League. I would like to know, as a group and also individually, what's the challenge for you? I guess it's taking the title after what happened last year. But what's the approach of the team? Well, same as every year, we will try to have a good competition, win the 3 titles we aspire to. We are really willing with new signings, also very motivated, like the ones that are already here. So we will try to be good competitors and see what we can do later in the season. But we are really excited about winning the title. Yes. What is the most important thing against Celtic tomorrow? What have you worked more on? Well, I believe we need to have the ball, basically. We will see whether they are in 4-5, as many teams do. So having the ball, being aggressive in recovering the ball, and also, as we've done in the last few years, we have to try and create opportunities, also run down the side, and that's what we've got to do.
Yeah, for the Scottish media, there's simultaneous translation here, so I don't know if you will require some, but we have some simultaneous translation. Okay? Thank you.
Jordi, you have 2 very different teams, but I don't know if you believe that match could be similar to that against Alaves. I mean, they could close down at the back. Well, every game is different, of course. It was very difficult against Alaves. They really shut down the defense back. And we've seen Celtic, and they play very well with the ball. Also, we've seen that in the last few years, it will be difficult to create opportunities, but that's what we are there for. Try and play a good game, create opportunities, have a good play, and taking home 3 points. It's important to have a good start.
Hola Jordi, aquí Adrià Albets, Cadena SER. En Madrid ya se habla de la duodécima.
In Madrid, there's people already talking about the 12th Cup and stuff. I don't know if you feel the motivation with this after these declarations from Real Madrid.
Well, all of them are. I'm motivated for all of them, all of the competitions, but also I'm motivated because we've won many titles over the years, and the team keeps on growing. We are playing great seasons lately, and hopefully we will have more. It is, however, very difficult to do what we are doing. So whatever others think, I mean, it's their opinion. I can tell you about the team. We are motivated. We are excited.
Tomorrow can be the first day in which we see the famous trident playing together this season. This is a guarantee for you, isn't it, having playing the 3 of them up front?
Yes, of course, any player can do great, but they are the best strikers in the world, the best forwards in the world, and that reassures you, of course, but we have to be the same team we've been always, and if you play as a team, you know, good things come around. Defensively, we will get less goals, we'll score more. It's about that.
The best way to forget the game against Alaves is starting really well and playing a good game against Celtic. Football gives you that sort of little pleasure, trying to make you help you forget a defeat.
Yes, it's fortunate because having a competition every 3 or 4 days is a benefit all footballers have, because the more you play, the fitter you are physically, and also when you lose a game, as we did on Saturday, you don't have to think it over for a whole week, and you have an opportunity to win another game, in this case against Celtic. And the pre-season and the start of the season of the league, of the Liga, has been very good. Of course, we had this problem the other day, but there's still a lot to come.
I wanted to ask you about what Cristiano said, if this is a some sort of lack of respect towards Xavi, saying that he played in Qatar, he has no golden ball and he's got 3. Do you think it's a disrespect?
Well, I can tell you about Xavi, and everything will be good, what I say about him, because he's been great player, great person, he's won everything. So maybe not because of those words. I've always said in many interviews that I believe it is unfair he didn't win Ballon d'Or. But whatever other players say, you have to ask them. I can just tell you good things about Xavi. Whatever others say, I'd rather not give my opinion of that.
Hola Jordi, Andrés Corpas del diario El Mundo. Esta temporada
This season, we've seen a lot more competence in the dressing room. You have a bigger squad. To what extent it's important not to lose your focus, being really concentrated in trying to earn a place in the first 11?
Well, since I've been here, it's been 4 or 5 years. Competition, internal competition, has always been there. It's the coach who decides who's going to play, who's not. But we've signed many young people. They are very motivated. They're great players. And of course, you have to be aware and alert. I believe this is best for the team and also for me, because it will make us better. It will make us more alert, because at any time you could fall down from the starting team or get back to it. So I believe it's a positive message for the team. Good morning, Jordi. Following the previous question, you started well this season, in spite of the problems you had in the beginning, but you're grateful for this competition. I mean, you had it with Adriano, but also the arrival of Lucas has accelerated you somehow. I feel really well. I feel fit. I feel well physically and playing with a lot of confidence. It's been 3 games with Barca because I couldn't be in the preseason. But again, I'm feeling really well. Competition's good, as I said. Of course, no one wants to fall down from the starting team, so it's good to have a competition. But I also had it with Adriano, and in the end, it's the coach who decides who's going to play and who's not. But everyone is going to be important, relevant over the season. Do you think Paco Alcácer will be good in this 4th forward role, and he can have a good role over the season if he can play? Well, we will see throughout the season. I believe he's a great player. Barca has signed in from Barca. I have known him since he was 16 years old. He's a great forward player. He's also a striker. He knows he's coming to a great team with the best 3 forward players in the world, but I guess he will do great. I would like to ask you about Arda Turan. In the beginning, Neymar was in Brazil, so he was more forward. It's in your side, so what's the position you think he's best at? Well, he's good everywhere. I believe he's a very significant player. Last season, he couldn't play for 5 months, and this season, he's been great from the beginning. He's been playing well all along, and I also feel great with him on the side, but also with Neymar. with Andres, with Dennis, anyone playing on my side, I really connect with them.
Not too long ago, I was talking to Wanyama, Celtic player, who was with us the other day, and he said that for the fans that arrived, they are happy to be here in the Champions League because there are not so many rival fans in the Champions League, and there was not a huge atmosphere. But it's not that often that those Champions League nights happen. Are you aware of the kind of atmosphere that you're going to see in the streets of Barcelona? No, well, this is not extra motivation. I don't care how many fans arrive from other places. What I'm motivated is by the Barca fans. I think it's great that the fans go travel abroad to support their teams, but what I'm interested in is my club's fans. In the end, well, most of the fans call me names all the time. So, yeah, what I like is the Barca fans that are the ones who love me.
Aquí en el centro. Aquí. Me gustaría saber cuál ha sido el mensaje de
I'd like to know what Luis Enrique's message has been after losing against Alaves, and if this gives more importance to the game against Celtic, and if you think this is especially important after your defeat.
Well, it's the same importance if we had won on Saturday or having lost. It is a new competition. We're excited to have a good start. It's 3 points. It's a game against this rival that has improved a lot since the last time we faced them 3 seasons ago. We've seen them, we've watched them play. They play with the ball, and they're going to make things difficult for us. So again, we need to have a good result and have a good start and take the 3 points home.
¿Qué tal? David Bernabé de Deportes 4. Habéis ganado 8 de 10 títulos.
You've won 8 of the 10 trophies in the last few years, but somehow the Champions League that Real Madrid won last year has people give it more importance somehow. Do you have that feeling?
Bueno, a mí me parezca bien o mal.
Well, whatever I feel like, you have to respect everything they say. People in Madrid will support their team. People in Barcelona will support ours. I've been fortunate to win so many titles here in Barcelona, and I am excited about winning many more. But what Barca has done, winning 3 triplets, it's very difficult. No one has done it. The first time we did it, they already said it was very difficult. It was something we won again, however, fighting and with sacrifice, and we've been winning titles in a row for many years. So it's difficult what we do, but we get new people very excited. Also, the old people here is excited as the first day. So, of course, everyone defends their thing. But I'm personally very happy with the group and with the titles Barcelona has been winning.
I wanted to ask you about Messi. It's been a complicated summer, as you know. Do you still see him as the main focus of the team for the season? Do you think what you get depends very much on Leo's performance?
Sería tonto si no dijera que
Well,
es muy importante para nosotros.
It would be silly to say Leo is not important for us, of course. It gives an added quality to the club. I mean, this team, this roster has great quality, but Leo makes us play better. He also helps in defense a lot. He's been for 10 or 12 years at a top level, being the best in the world. And of course, you have to admire that. Being at the top for so long, I mean, no one has done that for so many years, so he's essential for us. Last question. Before the match against Alaves, there was a survey, a poll with the supporters, and they were more excited about winning the Champions League than the Liga because it's more difficult. Also, in the dressing room, you're more excited about the Champions League than the Liga because it's more difficult. But all competitions, I mean, we are excited about all competitions. I mean, if you don't win the Liga, they will also say it is important to win the Liga. We would need to see who makes that survey and who are the responders. But for us, for the players, it's the same as with the supporters. They will want us to win all three titles. If we can't win Champions, at least Liga and Copa. If we can't win Liga, then Copa and Champions. But as much as we can get, of course, that's the way we are, and we need to keep on going and making people excited game after game, and I believe we're following the good direction.
Jugador del Futbol Club Barcelona, Denis Suárez, el que rebem amb aquest fort aplaudiment de nou. Gràcies, Denis! Leo Messi drives! Good goal! Xavi que toca l'Euro!
conference with Luis Enrique. It's one question each. Please state your name and medium.
Bona tarda, míster. Aquí Marc Grau de Barça TV.
Good afternoon, coach. I would like to ask you your analysis about this Celtic. You've played against them in the preseason. Maybe that event will help you prepare this match, or it's completely different. So I would like to know your analysis.
Buen día. Hombre, sí, ayuda.
Yeah, of course, it helps. You know, the fact that we played against Celtic in the pre-season, yes, it helps. But as far as in terms of intensity and what means having points at stake, there is a big difference there. What I think is we will see an opponent which is going to be very similar to the pre-season because of their coach's ideas. The idea is trying to implement in Celtic FC, which is associating, playing the ball, putting a lot of pressure when they lose the ball, and it's a rival that is a complicated rival. it went through to the Champions League group stage, and well, we have them in the group.
We've seen Ter Stegen is really making an effort to play as soon as possible. Can he play tomorrow?
He's played a full training session today. We'll see tomorrow, but yes, he's played a whole session, so it's a good sign.
Taking into account the rivals of the group and that you start tomorrow, what is the importance of winning the 3 points tomorrow?
Well, bearing in mind it's a very short, extremely short competition, and that we need to be a solid, reliable team, not only at home but also away. It's of course basic to start with a good game, basic for our morale. Obviously, coming after an unexpected defeat in the league, and well, it would be very important for us to be able to conquer all 3 points. But we better focus on what we have to do on the pitch at football level, the things that will make us be better than the rival, not in order not to fall in a kind of necessity that would be ridiculous at this stage of the season.
Ashraf Benaid, DP Sports. Quería saber qué has dicho a los jugadores después de la derrota ante el Alavés.
I would like to know what have you told the players before this season?
You have 15 years to play. You have 15 more years to play in the youth team, so you will find out what we say you will see what we say after every training session. So after every game, we do a sort of a talk to see, in order to comment what happens on the pitch. But what happens on those sessions corresponds, of course, to the staff and the players. You know, we have 60, 70 chats like that after every game.
Allow me to insist, but what's the mood of the roster of the team after the defeat on Saturday, and what could be the impact of that defeat in tomorrow's game?
Well, I hope there is no effect on the squad, but we will have to see. I can tell you that on Tuesday at past 11 at night. But after every game, after each and every game, we analyze the match with our players, what we think we have to analyze. So I don't think that is surprising at all. When we win, when we lose, we've got things to improve and things to reinforce. So it always happens after every game, so it was nothing special.
Luis Germán García, Radio Nacional, teniendo en cuenta
Luis, taking into account this is a short competition, I mean the Champions League, I guess it's important to win the home matches and try to get something away, right?
Well, the objective is to win the next game, which is the only one that we can think about right now. And we will. I really don't want to think in the long run. If we can qualify as in the first of the group, even better. But I want to focus in the game at hand, in what we need to do, and that is the most important thing. And the key thing here is to try to beat Celtic, and we're going to try to play good football. We're going to have to circulate the ball really well. We're going to try to overcome the high pressure. We have to be effective. We have to be strong in defense. Many things. Not easy.
I'm sorry, but there's many requests of questions, so we close them now. So what do you think about Cristiano Ronaldo not respecting Xavi Hernandez, saying he plays in Qatar, he hasn't won any Ballon d'Or?
I don't know why you ask me those questions. I'm interested in everything related to football. I can explain anything, I can talk about anything through interesting things for people who like football. Everything around football and this kind of questions, I'm not really interested.
Good afternoon. Can we get any positive message from the defeat against Alavés? Because when there's a defeat in Camp Nou, you always take in negative messages, but maybe positive one?
Yes, of course. I think I was clear enough after the game, after the Alaves game. I explained what I thought that happened after analysing it in more depth. I think, we were in the right direction. This is what we've been trying to do, to value, to assess, to work on. We're trying to make my players understand what is the best way to achieve a good result. But it's not an exact science, you know how it is. There are many other factors, and you can win or lose games. In this case, we will try and keep doing what we think is best to improve our team every week. Sometimes we make it, sometimes we don't.
Following this direction, do you maybe claim the right to fail, to have a defeat, but now you have still a margin, some space for recovery?
Well, I would like not to ever fail, but not to ever miss. But throughout all the seasons I've been in football, I have hardly ever seen something like that. So you've got to lose games sometimes. But obviously, this team has a very interesting recent history. We've been the team pedigree is out of the question, but that doesn't mean that we cannot fail. You've seen that we failed in the third week. So what we want to do is to identify those problems, find a solution for those problems, and to understand that football is so complex that anything can happen. That's it. From there on, I think time speaks for itself about what this team has achieved and what we have achieved since we're here, knowing that we're not interested in the past, but it's a clear reference, a clear sign of the confidence that this team deserves from its fans.
I would like to ask you what has been the mood reaction of the team after this pitfall?
Well, fine. They're fine. They are not happy, of course, because nobody likes to lose, and especially at home. And in the way that happened, because we were we got into the game at some point, but we made mistakes again, and well, we lost the game. But other than that, we have the shorter cycle that we can have after a defeat. It's very good. Only 2 days of rest. We are looking forward to competing tomorrow and to seeing the full Camp Nou and everybody supporting us in this competition we're passionate about, and we'll see what happens.
Luis, I would like to know what do you think about Silesen in his debut, and what do you think about him for the season, maybe whether he should play in a Champions game?
He's got. I see him really well. That's why we signed him. He's a very good goalkeeper for Football Club Barcelona. He wasn't lucky in the two goals, but of course. And then after that, the game was almost sentenced. He even touched the ball in the second goal, but not enough. I think he's fine. He's really calm, more in the line that we are looking for Barca's goal. And well, being a goalkeeper at Barca is very complicated. They shoot at goal 4 times, and it's going to be complicated situations. But I can see him in a really good.
Good afternoon. I don't know at what point you think your project for this season is, if it is in a starting point, or if all your players have everything assumed already.
Well, after 2 seasons and the beginning of the third, the ones that have been here for almost 3 years have already, they are already moving forward. But that means, even though I can see mistakes and things that we need to sort out, of course, we need to keep working on certain aspects. But nothing I'm really surprised about, because I've been a coach for a few years already. And of course, we need to reinforce certain habits. As for the new players, it's a world until we know what they want out of them, because I think we are a team that plays completely different to most teams. There are many things that are automatic and are repeated, and the player needs to adjust and assimilate them. And in that respect, we need a lot to work on. We need to give them a lot of information to help them a lot, so that journey is as less traumatic as possible.
Also, on the fallout of Alaves, but also thinking about Celtic. Even if it's a combination profile team, what do you think you could do against them in defense? Are you contemplating the possibility of them playing with 5 in the back?
Well, they have played with 5 defenders for a few minutes in the pre-season. Well, they conceded a couple of goals, so maybe that will be a question for Mr. Brendan Rodgers, and he would explain what they are going to do. We contemplate all possibilities. We see a high pressure. They always pressure after losing the ball in the other side of the pitch. They don't just fall back. For example, that's what Alaves did, falling back, and we like that about Celtic. We like to think about this. We like to work on this, and it's something that that is always something that you sort out on the pitch. You will see the kind of situation that we find if they try to put the high pressure or they try to fall back and close there. Am I worried about this? Not really worried. And, throughout these seasons, we've sorted out most defensive situations of the rivals. But yes, on the other hand, I'm worried because we need to sort out certain things, and we need to have a bright and an active day in order to overcome any type of defense.
I would like to ask you about Messi. How was he after the 30 minutes he played against Alaves, and will you keep spoiling him, so to speak, after the problems he's had?
Well, no. With Messi, I would like him to play every single minute. He would like to play that as well. But it's how the player is feeling here, what he feels in his legs, and the situation really don't change after a couple of minutes. So ahead of the game tomorrow, we will see if he can play many minutes. It's perfect for us, perfect for the team. But it will be him who decides, or his state, really, that what marks how many minutes he can play.
Quisiera saber qué le parece Brendan Rodgers como entrenador.
I would like to know your opinion of Brendan Rodgers as a coach, and do you think he could replicate what he did with Liverpool and Celtic?
I like him as a coach. I've seen him. I knew him from before at the Mini. I met him also at the Mini Stadium watching Barça B. He's a lover of good football. He loves a very attractive footballing idea. I like coaches who play in attack and who prefer players who like the burden of the match, if you like, who have the initiative. I've seen that in Celtic, and we've seen that in Celtic players who are able to associate with other players to get to the goal line. And I know that's going to generate problems. And I like Brendan Rodgers as a coach, and I like his ideas.
With the arrival of Umtiti, it looks like Mascherano could play in the midfield together with Busquets, because he has not rested so much in the last games and has not been so brilliant, probably.
No. Even less so when you lose. Talking about individualities makes no sense. As for Mascherano, for a coach, he's a marvelous player. I've said it a dozen times. A player who knows he's a defensive midfielder, and he's been playing as a central defender for a long time, because he's great in that position. He helps us a great deal. One of the players that is going to rest less is Busquets, because in his position he might be the most specific, although I have more options in that position, like Sergio Roberto, Andre Gomez, Ivan Rakitic. I have other options there, but I have a squad that gives me many different possibilities, and I hope to be able to use many different players. And the fact that one of them plays more or less, it could be due to the rivals that we've played, or the players' physical state, the amount of traveling they've done, and other important things. Maybe not having a vision after 3 games, but after 60 or 65 games. So we will see.
I would like to ask you about Samuel Umtiti. Of course, when the club signs a young player, it's because they believe he is talented. But have you been surprised with his performance so soon and being so relevant for the team so soon when he's only 22 years old?
Well, when you sign a player, despite their age, could be a handicap. In the end, what you have to value is their quality. And in this respect, all our signings, be it 22-year-old players or older, I think they have a very good quality. And a different matter is what happens during the games and during the seasons. We'll see how they perform in a team as difficult as Barca. So we will assess their performance after many games, because otherwise we could be too critic or be able to praise them too much. So we will see. I think all our signings have the right quality, but we will assess their performance in a longer period, a minimum of half a season or the whole season.
Hi, Ailey Barber, BT Sport. Celtic are back in the Champions League after missing a couple of seasons. I was just wondering how you assess their place as a club within Europe and what they will bring to the competition this year.
Aquí no habla nadie, pero bueno, lo he entendido. Me ha tocado el mudo. Ha dicho la vuelta a la competición
del Celtic y cómo valoras la situación del Celtic como club en general y por la historia.
Bueno, el Celtic es un club histórico.
Celtic is an historic club, back in the Champions League after playing all the seasons. And well, they've achieved the right results with the right coach. I think they were in the fourth. There were rivals who were more, say, affordable than Celtic, but we are happy enough to play against an historic team, and we will be happy to go to one of the best stadiums in Europe in terms of atmosphere, and knowing that their fans will have a great sporting image and full support to their team. As for football, I'm worried about the best. Some of their players, with Dembele after scoring a hat-trick, Sinclair, Roberts, they have very good players, very high-quality players in order to sort out. That could give us some problems, and they're really worked on team.
About what you said about new players, it isn't fair to assess whether the backup players work or not, because they have not had so much time to get the habit.
I think I've spoken enough, long enough about this in the last question. I think this is what was fair. And I don't want to praise them too much, or I don't want to criticize them too much. I know it's not easy in our world. It's not my part. But professionals value everything. And in the long run, not really after 3 games, because I think that's a logical way of doing things.
3 last questions. Of course, all competitions are important, and Barca is supposed to win them all, but maybe the Champions League is probably the greatest thing in the world, or is there anything greater than Champions?
The league, of course. The league is very important, not bad. All the competitions are important. Obviously, the Champions League, because of the particularity of facing teams from different countries and everything. But the league is always a title that means a supremacy or being powerful in our own league, especially in a league like the Spanish league, in which we've got Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. You've seen the results in Europe. I think it's very important as well. But obviously, the Champions League is, we're very excited about it. All the clubs are.
As a player and as a coach in Barcelona, you've won many titles already. Would you rather keep that or 3 Ballon d'Or?
Well, I'm not going to win a Golden Ballon d'Or if I don't play. If I play Ludo, perhaps, but I'm not going to answer to that, really.
Last question. So the rivalry between Barca and Madrid reaches the extreme in which Raúl was very criticized for his presence in the new office of Barcelona in New York. Do you think it is exaggerated that he gets criticized because of that?
¿Por qué te ríes?
Why are you laughing? I have nothing to say. That's the way our world is. Thank you very much.